and welcome back to Cinematic Sarcastic, the podcast that talks all things movies and television. I'm Natalie, and I'm your host. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I just got back from the theater, and I have some thoughts to unpack here. Now, of course, as with many of my other reviews, I want to give a little bit of disclaimer that I'm not a huge Marvel fan. I'm not a huge DC fan. I'm not familiar with a lot of these comic book characters. These are just not the comics that I grew up reading as a kid. So a lot of these films I go into completely blind, and Black Panther is no exception. Now, I really liked the first Black Panther when that one came out. And I will have to admit I was a little bit concerned about the second Black Panther. Not that I thought that Hollywood was going to completely destroy and trash it, just that I knew that they had some really large shoes to fill. Not only, with the passing of Chadwick Boseman, but with Black Adam also being out around the same time and really dominating as far as the movies, charts and stuff go. I wasn't sure not only if it was just going to do the right thing by Chadwick, but if it was going to be as good as Black Adam or not. Because that was really my comparison, was that I probably liked the original Black Panther as much as I liked Black Adam. And I might even like Black Adam a little bit more because I don't know, I really loved it. But I will have to say, I was very impressed by what they did with Wakanda Forever. It was a little bit long. The entire duration of the movie would be 3 hours, which was 2.5 hours of the movie runtime. And then, of course, you always have the excruciatingly long 30 minutes of previews, which I normally very much love. Previews are some of my favorite because I love getting to see, what's coming next. But 30 minutes is just insane, y'all. But either way, I think the opening credits of Black Panther, where they do the Marvel Studios sort of reel of all of the other films, I was very impressed with how they handled that with this one. So it was nothing but Chadwick images in the letters of the Marvel Studios, and it was completely silent. It was like them giving a moment of silence for Chadwick, and I thought that was beautiful. And not only that, but the end sequence, that extra little bit that you get at the end of superhero films, they also did it right by him. And I was very impressed with that. I was expecting it to kind of be an extra sequence that just gives you a little Easter egg or a hint at what's coming next. And they didn't do that. They took that opportunity to completely just encompass the story of Chadwick Boseman and that character of Black Panther and really kind of bring it full circle and end it in a really lovely way. So I was very impressed with how they did that. I have very, very few things about this movie that I didn't like. I think really the only standout one is there are these blue super suits that Shuri creates in the movie that I think are hideous. They are the ugliest things I have ever seen. They are so ugly. And I think it looks ridiculous on the characters that wear them in the film. But that's really just a costume design nitpicky. I hated that thing. But overall, the movie I thought was exceptionally well done. I was I don't know if impressed is the right word. I don't think that's the right word, but I was very interested and excited to see the new characters that got brought in, and not the new characters from Wakanda, but the new civilization that came in that was descendant of the ancient Mayans and all of that stuff. I thoroughly loved them. I thought they looked fantastic. They just looked phenomenal. The jewelry, everything there was a lot of detail, I think, paid to that. And it was really cool to I think this is also, not to sidetrack myself, but I think this is also why I really enjoyed Black Adam. It's exciting to see comic book characters for me that come from different civilizations and different cultures, because I enjoy getting to hear the backstory or the creation story of how that superhero or that comic book character, if you will, gets created. I find that fascinating. I don't know why. It's one of my things. I like the backstories. Obviously, I love the stories. So I like the backstories. So Namor in this one, who is like the Mayan god played by Tenoch Huerta, he did a really great job. I know I saw a lot of articles that came out that were like, what is this guy? How can he play a god? He's like chubby and he doesn't look like a superhero. Honestly, I was not mad at it. I was not mad at it at all. He looked exceptional. I thought he looked great. I am team dad bod. I don't even think he had a dad bod. I think he looked fine. I don't know. I really enjoyed him, and I enjoyed his people and that culture. There were maybe a couple of questions with that because I know, they were the Mayans. So we're talking completely on the other side of the ocean from Wakanda. And it never did explain kind of how they seemed to be so close to each other. And I know in the movie at one point, he does mention that they've had to move their underwater city a few times because they, to avoid being detected. And I don't know if that was meant to be a one sentence explanation of why they seem to be right there. But it never explained the distance wise. Was he really traveling from across the ocean, or were they closer to each other? But again, that's a nitpicky thing that I don't really think matters to anyone but my overthinky brain. But other than that, exceptional. I 100% think that if there is a place that we go, Chadwick Boseman is very proud of everyone that was involved in Wakanda Forever. I think he would have really liked it. So those are my thoughts on Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I would love to know what your thoughts are. Subscribe if you want to join the Movie Nerd family. You can find me on Instagram at Cinematic Sarcastic Podcast, and I hope to see you in the next episode.